How would you like to make these cute little 2-inch shadow boxes? That's right, 2 square inches shadow boxes with a little cover that pivots off. I made this with the We Are Memory Keepers shadow box scoreboard and their punches, which are sold separately. They make the hinge that allows you to take that little piece of paper and just slide it up and down, which is really cool. So for the 2-inch squared, you start off with a 6 by 6 inch piece of cardstock. Of course, you want it to be pretty thick, so I wouldn't use regular paper. I'd use a thicker cardstock for sure. And then you just line it up on the board, and you're going to score it 4 times where the lines are. What's cool is there's different sizes that this board does offer. 2, 3, 4. I'll put how many in the description, and you just score it in the same areas each time. So that's awesome. It does come with that knife, the scoring knife. It slides into the side like usually you find with the We Are Memory Keeper boards. So that's cool too. So here I'm just scoring 4 times along each side. Easy peasy. And once you're done scoring on all 4 sides, you just want to loosen up the fibers by folding at the creases. It helps you as you manipulate the paper when you make the shadow box. So here again, I'm just loosening up those fibers, making sure that it's easy to work with. What's nice about this board is you see that big square at the bottom there. I'm going to turn that towards myself at one point. And this is where you cut just on 2 of the sides of the square, opposite sides. And this creates a piece that you can then tuck other sides into. So I'll show you that more later. So you see how I'm sliding it once. When you slide it in, it's going to stop. That was the first time. Then you slide it in more. You'll feel it because it's going to let you slide it in even farther. And you're going to cut and punch it out a second time. Sometimes they build up on the bottom, so you just got to get the excess out of there. So this is the second time I'm going to slide it in. It's going to go even further than that first cut. And I'll just punch it a second time. Then I'm flipping the paper over, and I'm going to do the other side. So the first punch, and again, you can feel it when it stops. Then you just slide it again till you feel it stop, and then you punch that second time. You see that odd shape there at the end. So now I'm going to the opposite side of where I just punched, and I'm going to make another one. First punch, second punch. And then flipping the paper over. First punch, second punch. Again, sometimes you gotta, especially if you're working with a thicker cardstock, you might have to just get the cutouts emptied. Oh, be careful. So now, putting the board aside, that's all you need the board for, is the scoring and the punching of these, I don't even know what to call them, but. So first, those odd-shaped sides is what you're gonna fold in. Now remember, you have scored it already, so it's pretty easy to work with. And I'll put the camera up closer so that you can see how it tucks in. But you kind of hold it in place, and then you're going to fold over that flat piece, and it's very easy. It'll tuck right inside of those other 2 pieces. Voila. And there we have the one side. And again, folding it over on each score line and then tucking it underneath. And it holds in place really nicely. But of course, if you have a precision glue gun of some sort, it's also good to just stick some glue under there and let it sit so that it's secured. So there's our first 2-inch squared shadow box, right? So you can put something in the center. In this case, I'm using a Tim Holtz products. So I'm making a Halloween. Now I'm using the glue gun, like I said, to kind of just put glue underneath the corner. So I slid it out a little bit, put a little glue there. That's going to be hidden once I slide it back in. I did a Christmas shadow box and also a Halloween shadow box. Something about these little boxes is just, I can't. It's too cute. Can't make enough of them. So here we have part 1 of the shadow box. I'm going to set that aside, let the glue dry. Now I'm bringing out the Hinge maker, which is a set of 3 punches. All right, I did not like the way the Hinge part of my video turned out because it was out of view a bit too much for me. If I was watching that part of this video, I would have been screaming at my device. So here's the deal. These 3 punches are sold separately. This is We Are Makers. This creates the hinge and punches a hole into this door cover so that you can swing it in and out like that. Okay, so to make it easiest to see, using the I call it the hinge punch. I'm not sure if that's the official name, but this is the hinge mechanism, and you can see that shape there. So it's kind of like a cross. You want 1 of those. You want 2 of the circles because that's actually going to cover that mechanism and allow you to swing it. Well, the mechanism allows you to swing it, but it covers that up. And then you're going to use this to punch the hole in the actual cover. Now, I'm going to put these all here. What's nice about these punches is there is a clear window underneath, so you can see exactly where you're punching your hole, which is important because we want it right in the corner, right? We want it right in this corner. We can't have it here or there, right? It needs to be right here so that it's going to go on top of the box. And so I'm able to see exactly where that corner should be, or just about, so that it's like that. So now I have another little 2-inch box here. So now we can see that it'll swing open and that it'll be on top of this part of the box. This isn't glued, so it's a bit wonky, and it's a thinner paper. So again, I do recommend a thicker cardstock. Anyway, so here's how we put it together. We're gonna take our hinge piece and we are going to bend up. There's 2 fat sides and 2 little skinny sides. We want to bend up those little skinny sides, okay? I'm gonna try and put this, oopsie, try and put this in the frame. So I've bent up those 2 little skinny sides. You want to put it through that small hole that you punched into the shadow box cover, okay? And now what you're going to be able to do is bend those little tiny hinge pieces back. So it looks like a little bow, right? Then we want to take our little precision glue and just put a dot on each side. See, I put just a dot on each side. Then we're taking one of the large circles and we're going to glue it to that hinge. The point being that we're not gluing the circle to the paper, the white paper. we're just gluing it to that hinge, okay? And flipping it over, we'll do the same here. You want to be careful. That's why we're using the precision tip glue, that the circle that you're putting over it is just sticking to the hinge itself. Boop. And it should cover it so that it's pretty camouflaged, right? So you can't really see what's happening. So see, now it just looks like a circle. But really, once it dries, just grabbing a piece of white paper. Once it dries, it's gonna act like a swing, right? It's gonna allow this cover to swing. So how does that happen? You take, so let's take this one. So try to give this enough time to dry. And then we're just gonna put it on one side. And we're gonna lay it on top of our box, line it up nice. And if you're looking, you wanna think about decorations that, like I put a clear film over one of my shadow boxes, over the one in the video actually. So it would have been easier to just cut out a 2-inch square of film and put that on first and then put the door over it. If I would try to think about what you plan to do before you glue everything down. But I glued the back of this, and now I'm just gonna press it onto the shadow box. And it has not had enough time to dry, but once it does, now that door will be able to swing open and closed because of that mechanism in the middle, that hinge. I can't really do it now because it's not dry yet, but as you can see, that's how we get it to work. The key being to let things dry. Make sure that you are only putting the glue on the hinge when you're putting these round pieces on it, so that you don't want the round piece to stick to the actual cover, right? Because you want it to be able to move. Like I can feel, you can see it can move because it's not glued to the actual paper. So that's really the key. And then once you're all set, then you can do that. Or I should be using this one. You could do this because this is the one that's in the video. But this is another one that I made. It's a Christmas one. How cute is that? I love these. And you can make boxes that are 2, 3, 4, and 5 square inches. And I'm sure people out there who like to create little hacks, I'm sure you could probably do even bigger if you wanted, but thank you. Now back to the original video. So there's a round piece on the top and the bottom, and in the middle is that hinge, which that punch on my glass table shows you kind of what it looks like. It's almost like a cross. I pointed to my watch. You want to let it dry. And as I'm letting it dry, I'm going to find other things to keep myself busy. So I'm looking through some Holtz idea-ology to decorate the box. So yeah, this is for the Halloween box. I'll put a list of all the different types of things that I used, idea-ology pieces that I used, so you'll be able to see that. And I'm just going to speed up the video a bit more. Basically, I chose one of the little nameplates that says beware. I chose like a skull, a little round piece that has a skull on it. I'm just going to decorate the front of the box with that. And I've sped it up even more because you don't really need to see. Those are just some of the flathead screws that Holtz has in his idea-ology. So I think it's cool to cover the round piece, the hinge, with a flathead. Then I'm just choosing bits and pieces from his idea-ology Halloween, which is from 2024 collection. And then the buttons are before that. So that's an older collection of Halloween themed buttons. They don't actually have the pins in them, so you could just glue them to things, which is kind of cool. And I'm deciding, you know, what I'm going to put inside. Like, I would have loved to put a candle. He has these drippy candles, but it was just too big. Now, you can make bigger boxes, and again, I'll put the size options that I'm sure it'll go in one of the bigger shadow boxes, but this is just a very small. It's just a 2-inch squared, so I'm just deciding what I want to do. Eventually, I kind of saw a face by what I was putting on there, which I liked, so I just made it a face, like a Halloween face. Now I've really sped it up. So here you can just kind of see how I'm deciding what's going to go where. And what I'll do is just do a little bit of editing so we can kind of get to the end result here. But play around, mix and match things before you glue anything down for sure, and have fun. So I pretty much have the face together. I decided to put, like, I broke up some of the idea-ology. There's these bones that I put some glitter paste on, and you know, these kinds of decorations. It's nice when they tell a story. So mine is about spiders. So on the front it says beware. And then I have a spider in the corner of the shadow box there, which the paper covers until you reveal it. And then on the inside, I decided to put some bones and a spider in there too. One of the features I added was I took a piece of idea-ology shattered glass. It's just a clear film, and it basically looks just like shattered glass. So I wish I had put that over the full 2 by 2 inch, but I'd already glued down the cover. So I just kind of trimmed it just so it could fit right inside there. So it looks like there's a piece of shattered glass covering the shadow box. So that's cool too. Okay, so I'm putting that shattered glass on the cover, trimming it so it fits nicely. So here it is, right side up. Our little beware. There's a clock there for the nose. You have that screw for the left eye, and a little emblem with the number 31 on it for the right eye. And then as we open it, by swinging that cover, you'll notice or see the spiders, right? So we have the spider on the outside of the box, shadow box. There's a spider on the inside with one of the confectionery candies from Holtz idea-ology. And here's a bit more of a close-up. I really do love the flathead screw on top of the hinge piece in that upper left-hand corner. I love everything about these little shadow boxes. So again, this is the We Are Memory Keepers shadow box board. There are also 3 punches to create the hinge that's used to be able to swing the door open so you can reveal the shadow box. I do hope this was fun to watch and helpful. I'll list all the items I used to put it together in the comments. And of course, if you like this video, please hit the like button. Feel free to subscribe, and I will be sure to keep adding content. Thanks all. Have a great day.